bill. Let's bring in the House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise, who has a keen sense, obviously, of which way his party is moving when it comes to major legislation. He was previously the whip on the House side. It's always good to see you, Speaker Scalise. Thank you very much. Majority Leader Scalise, I should say. Thank you for being here.
Martha, great to be back with you. Thank you for having me.
So give us your sense. You've got a majority of 8 in the House. We're going to put up a list on the wall now of people who have had problems with various elements of this bill as it has been passing along. And then let me just quickly play a soundbite from one of the most outspoken who has been against this. He says the Senate bill is not ready for prime time. And this is Andy Harris, the Republican from Maryland. Watch.
The bottom line is this is not ready for prime time. We support the president's agenda. The president's agenda was not to raise the deficit by $750 billion over the next 10 years. The bottom line is now the House is going to have its say. This is not going to sail through the House. We're going to have to negotiate with the Senate one more time.
So you've got a lot of members who wanted to see deeper cuts. They want to see not a $5 trillion debt ceiling. That's a big concern of theirs. So what do you say to those members who are still on the fence at this point?
Right, and we've been communicating with a lot of those members. I just left another meeting with the Speaker. We were talking through some of those questions. And, keep in mind, Andy Harris did not vote for the bill when it left the House. So, that was one of the votes we didn't have initially. Members are looking through the changes that were made in the Senate, as they all should. But at the end of the day, this bill has over 85% of all the provisions for President Trump's agenda that left the House. And frankly, if you look at the most important provisions, ensuring no family gets a tax increase, that's $3.5 trillion, $4.5 trillion of a tax increase we prevent in this bill. That's still intact in this bill. Following through on President Trump's promises to give them the funding for border security, building the wall, technology for our border agents, which is a huge priority for a lot of us in this bill still. Energy security, promoting energy security is in this bill. So all of those things are still in the bill to get the economy moving, to help families who are struggling. And so members, I think, ultimately want to get that bill to the president's desk. We're looking at bringing that bill in the morning.
Okay, that goes to my next question. Give us a sense, if I were someone who was on the fence about this bill, tell me what are you saying to them? How strongly are you sending this message that it sounds like this is as good as this bill is going to get?
Well, and as you've seen through this whole process, which has gone on for months, every change you make on one side of the bill to appease maybe one group of people can impact the group negatively for 20 other members on the other side of the bill. So it's not as easy as saying, hey, I just want one more change, because one more change could end up being what collapses the entire thing. And so it's always been a delicate balance. You saw that through the House, and then you saw that through the Senate. J.D. Vance had to break the tie, as he did, to get the bill through. But at the same time, this bill delivers on so many things that are good for America's economy, for families in America who gave us this mandate, the House, Senate, and White House, to go deliver on all of the things that are in this bill. It's why it's important that we get it done.
So, that doesn't sound like a strong arm, but I understand that there is an effort that will be very aggressive to get anybody who's not on board with this. And you just said a moment ago that you expect a vote in the morning. So that's on the rules or the vote that comes after that? Give us a sense of timing.
Yeah, on both, Martha. In the morning, we'll bring the rule first, and then, of course, we'll bring the bill itself in the form it came from the Senate. And like I said, a lot of members that are reading through the bill now that have questions also are asking those same other questions. Gee whiz, what if I just make one more change to the bill? And they're even getting the realization that even if you make that change that you want, it's going to adversely affect the bill for a large enough group to bring it down.
Yeah. What's your bet right now? Is it going to pass tomorrow?
I'm very confident it will pass. And the question you have to ask is, if this bill doesn't pass, what are the consequences? They would be severe. Let's get this bill passed and get this economy moving again and deliver on President Trump's agenda.
Yeah, it could have some ramifications for a lot of people if the majority that has the White House, the Senate, and the House can't get this through. So we'll be watching, of course, very closely. Good to see you, Leader Scalise.
Let's get it done. Thanks
Thanks for joining us today.